Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is September the 12th, 2024. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Overall work went well. I did have a caveat of they dumped a random coworker on me to work. This was a person I've only seen one or two times, and it was definitely the same kind of ham-fisted thing of hey, this guy knows how to we taught him, or we're teaching him right now in front of you, and then he's gonna just hang out with you because we have nowhere else to put him. And it's y'all, I hate that. I hate when it's no notice. We're just dropping a guy on you. We don't even care if you need it or not. And it's just one of those things where it just puts me on my haunches. And I felt myself hitting a boiling point. And I said, you know what? You can do it. You got it. You nothing better to do. You're here. I've been working this whole day. You know what? You got it. And I just literally walked away and just hung out at maintenance for the rest of my day. I think I wound up just chilling for a good chunk of time. Because I just was over it. You know what I mean? I was grumpy. I didn't get enough sleep last night. Very, very classic Isaiah. I will say I did get a nice nap in. So that was good. After I came home from working out and everything. I was like, look, I know I got to get into this podcast and stuff, but I need to go sleep. So I slept for an hour. So let's see here. But overall work was good. I realized hey, you know what? Once again, life is good. I get to just go fuck off for an hour or so. Who gives a shit? My work's going to get done, and work got done. So it was all good. Let's see here. I feel I have an update on the AC. They finally fixed it. I'd given, and here's the thing that really kind of bothers me here. It's definitely very bittersweet. Is I guess the sweet part is I called them, and after I've been waiting for so long, weeks have gone by now, right? And I was gritting my teeth. I was tightening my butthole because I was assuming they were going to be nasty. Generally, I have bad run-ins with my landlords. They're not nice people. They're not good people. And it's generally landlords for you. Am I right? But they were the person on the phone was actually nice to me for a change. So that put me on the back foot. I was like, okay, well, sounds like you're playing ball with me, so I'll play ball with you. That's all I'm asking for, right? And they're like, oh yeah, we're sorry. We've been going store to store looking for clips to put in to fix it. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay. And then sure enough, a day or so later after I make that call, I think literally a day, they fix it. And I'm like, dog, y'all are going to let me rot this whole fucking winter season with tape that I put up, that I had to fucking find because their dollar store fucking duct tape was not doing it. So, look, at the end of the day, and also, I'll tell you this, y'all, they didn't even put up a new one. They just literally, quote-unquote, found the clip, and then clips that they needed, and they just put it in. And, technically, that thing had gotten beaten up from falling over. But you know what? I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to take it and just rock with it. You know what I mean? I hate this apartment. I really fucking do. But it's so cheap, and I'm so fucking poor. So that's where we're at. Yay. Let's see here. Was there anything else on the updates? No. Food Corner, I had this is a bit of an odd meal, almost like a little snack. I had a cinnamon raisin bagel with strawberry cream cheese, and I added some cinnamon on top and some cinnamon sugar. Oh, it was very good. And then I had a little bit of a chip side of St. Vicky's jalapeno chips. So it was a nice little pairing there. It was good, nice and yummy. But yeah, so I feel like we're all caught up. You got all my Joneses. They're all in a bag. Take them with you. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do our startup, and we'll get into some news. Ooh, baby. All right. From the BBC, UN says Israeli strike on Gaza school killed 6 of its staff. Excuse me. The UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, or UNRWA, says 6 of its employees have been killed in an Israeli airstrike on a school it runs in central Gaza. Gaza's Hamas-run civil defense agency said a total of 18 people were killed in Wednesday's strike on Al-Jahuni School in Nusrat refugee camp, which is being used as a shelter by thousands of displaced Palestinians. Israeli military said it carried out a precise strike on terrorists, planning attacks from the school. On Thursday, the military alleged that 9 of those killed were members of Hamas's armed wing and that 3 of them were UNRWA staff. So essentially, they were trying to say that, like, oh, you guys say that those are your UNRWA employees, cool, but we're actively calling out that those were Hamas. And then UNRWA's like, we haven't even sent you the information for these people. Like, you're saying you just have that, and they're like, yeah, we already know, and we want that information. Yes, give it to us. So, I mean, it's a whole fucking thing. Y'all already know how I feel about this shit. Like, do I believe the IDF? Do I believe Israel on this shit? No, I'm not. Like, they've just lied way too many times about this shit just to fit their own narrative. So, no, I don't believe the IDF on this. No, I don't believe the military here. And it doesn't matter even if I did, because it doesn't justify the fact that it's like, oh, well, we're 100% certain that there were some terrorists in this group. I don't care. You still killed innocent women and civilians, and you're going to do it again, and you do not care about that. That does not matter to you. It's all in quote-unquote for your defense over October 7th. Fuck that shit, man. It's always fuck that shit. Boo. No one believes you. Boo. So... I just want to get the story in. I mean, there's obviously more to it, but I'm going to leave it there. Let's go ahead and hit the next article from CNN. Harvey Weinstein indicted on new sexual assault allegations in New York. I feel like it's been kind of a crazy month for the old Weinstein, the old piece of shit. I mean, he definitely deserves it, but at the same time, he's dodging some shit. But that's not the main brunt of this article. I want to kind of get into that, and then maybe if I can remember, I'll try to get into some of the other stuff. A Manhattan grand jury has indicted Harvey Weinstein in connection to new assault allegations, according to prosecutors. The indictment detailing the allegations, however, will likely remain sealed until Weinstein is arraigned. It could include sexual allegations from 3 women, prosecutors said at a separate hearing last week. Now, these are new, as I'm understanding, and they aren't connected to the trial that's like... it didn't get dismissed or whatever, but they're gonna have to retry them, and they've been kind of New York's kind of trying to figure out okay, who do we have that actually really wants to go through this process again, and I know that they have at least one person, I believe, that's no, I do want to go through this trial again, I'm down, I want to get them. So I know that's gonna happen. This isn't related to that. The disgraced movie mogul was not present at the Thursday hearing because he was not medically cleared to attend after an emergency procedure on his heart and lungs earlier this week. Weinstein was being treated in the intensive care unit at Bellevue Hospital until Wednesday, his attorney Arthur Idalia said. So I was kind of hoping this dude was going to fucking croak. And that was what I was going to give you guys, but that didn't happen. I'm not going to burp it somewhere. There it is. So, I mean, there's this new indictment. There was also an indictment that got dropped in the UK. They said, yeah, we were pursuing the case, but we just felt like we didn't have enough, I think, evidence or whatever. It just didn't, it didn't add up for them to really continue on with the indictment, so they dropped it. So that's obviously very unfortunate. And it also might be a thing, too, of we already know this guy's so embroiled in shit going on in America, yeah, we have something, but is it even worth the hassle of even trying to, put that in the mix in the situation? I don't know. I'm sure there's just multiple variables is what I'm trying to get at here. Let's see. But I mean, it's definitely an interesting dynamic of the fact that the identity of the 3 accusers hasn't been released. I know the defense is kind of very upset about that because essentially from them, they're yeah, we have to kind of blind fight this. We have no, we're literally going to have to just come in and just get blindsided. Granted, I kind of don't give a shit. Obviously it's oh yeah, that does seem a bit odd in terms of the rule of law and all that. But then you look at the fucking perpetrator here, fucking Harvey Weinstein. It's I don't want anything good to happen to him in this trial. I think it's crazy that we even have to do a retrial for Weinstein in the fucking first place. But I mean, here we are. Um, let's see here. I did want to read a little bit more. One alleged assault occurred at a residential building in Lower Manhattan in the winter months between 2005 and 2016. Prosecutor said another accuser is said to have been sexually assaulted in a hotel in Tribeca in May of 2016. A third woman has alleged Weinstein sexually assaulted her at the Tribeca Grand Hotel, according to the hearing transcript. A source with knowledge of the matter told CNN that the alleged assault is said to have occurred during 2006. So yeah, that is now on the table. We will see. Let's see here. This was the part I was mentioning a little bit earlier. Weinstein, 72, was convicted in 2020 on first-degree criminal sexual act and third-degree rape. He was sentenced to 23 years in prison, but his conviction was overturned on appeal in April. While he remains in prison, he appeals a separate 2022 conviction in Los Angeles, while he was found guilty on 3 sexual assault charges and sentenced to 16 years in prison. It's crazy how much of a menace, sexual deviant this motherfucker was. You say is, like, it's crazy how, like, throughout that trial they tried to, like, mock it up, like, oh, he's so old, he's on a walker, like, oh, feel pity for him. It's like, no, dude, like, this dude was, like, at it non-stop, and it's so fucked up. So, you know, I hope that this guy just has a merry rot in prison for the rest of his fucking life. But I will definitely keep you posted on, what comes next. But yeah, let's move on from Weinstein to another icky subject. Kind of just want to fucking say it. New York, no, I can get specific here. NYPD, but in this situation, it goes all the way to the top, and we're not just talking to the commissioner. I'm talking the Big Apple right on top, right on the stem, the old Eric Adams. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. I guess he really isn't the stem. Isn't that Hochul? She's the governor. But, like, I don't know. Fuck it. For this fucking narrative, I'm saying it's all up to Adams. Anyway, ABC News. NYPD Commissioner Edward Caban, I'm going to say Caban, resigns. My complete focus must be on the NYPD. Also, I just preface, I hate his little resignation thing. It's so fucking annoying. But New York City Police Commissioner Edward Caban, or Caban, I'm just going to flip-flop, fuck it, is stepping down. He and his attorneys confirmed. Word of resignation also came in a letter from Caban's attorney to City Hall. The resignation is effective Friday. His resignation comes amid a federal investigation into possible corruption in New York City government that last week saw authorities seizing cell phones belonging to Caban and other NYPD officials, according to sources familiar with the investigation. Caban's attorneys, Russell Capone and Rebecca Donaleski, said in a statement that they have been informed that Caban is not a target of any investigation being conducted by the Southern District of New York and that he expects to cooperate fully with the government. Caban also said he will continue to fully cooperate with the ongoing investigation. I just think that's so fishy that it's like, well, he's not implicated, he's not a suspect, da-da-da-da-da, but it's like, well, then why is he resigning? And, I mean, we'll get into his quote here. My complete focus must be on the NYPD, the department I profoundly honor and have dedicated my career to serving, Caban said in a statement. However, the noise around recent developments has made that impossible and has hindered the important work that our city requires. I have therefore decided that it is in the decided it is in the best interest of the department that I resign as commissioner. And I'm like, dude, that just seems so flimsy. I don't believe it. Like, if you're not implicated, then, like, why is this a distraction? You just answer their fucking questions and you get back to fucking work. I feel like if you have something to lose here, if you're implicated in some kind of way, then it's like, yeah, maybe it's best to get ahead of this and I just kind of at least get out of Dodge, at least get out of the profession now. But I don't know. That's just me being speculative, obviously. Speculative? Whatever. Let's see. There's a longer thing he goes into an email, but I'm not reading that. We're skipping that. New York City Mayor Eric Adams said during remarks on Thursday that he accepted Caban's resignation and has appointed former FBI agent and former New York Homeland Security Director Tom Donlin as interim commissioner. I respect his decision and I wish him well, he said of Caban. Commissioner Caban dedicated his life to making our city safe, and we saw a drop in crime for the 13th for the 13 of the 14 months that he has served as commissioner. Yay, I'm so glad you flooded the street with like fucking cops and like, you know, I think what you got, the National Guard and buses and shit, or the Metro or whatever, the Underground, whatever, you know what I'm talking about, the subway. Yeah, y'all did really good. So good. We beat crime. We did it. But I mean, I've covered Adams before in terms of corruption. I mean, shit, starting I think last year we started kind of getting to it, like, or we were seeing the shit that was kind of popping up in the news. There's been laptop seized, there's been cell phone seized. So this seems kind of more the same. There does seem to be some tangential ties here. Maybe I'm making leaps because I don't think that this article is necessarily saying that. That's just kind of more me saying it. But I wouldn't be surprised, especially if what even Caban is saying is true. It's like saying, hey, I'm not the guy. They're just looking at me. They're just in my shit. They just want to see what I know. Maybe that's the case. Maybe he is informing. I don't know. Maybe he's dropping some dimes. But a lot of motherfuckers are getting hit up in terms of saying, hey, let me see your phone. Let me see your laptop. We need to get into this. This is an FBI investigation. We're getting into some shit. Who is that shit about? Is it about Adams? Is it about, like, just corruption in the NYPD? You know, hopefully we get to the bottom of this. Definitely seems like Caban and his, like, you know, overall family has some ties in terms of, like, you know, real estate and things of that matter, restaurants or former restaurants, whatever. So, I mean, definitely it's possible, you know, like I said, I'm not actively saying, like, oh, for sure I know. I haven't really done the research outside of just what I'm reading right here. But definitely an interesting development. I do think it's definitely strange that you have a commissioner saying, like, yeah, man, I just love the NYPD so much. I'm so focused on my job. I'm so on my grind that I had to leave it because this probe is crazy. And it was just so noisy and distracting. When it's like, well, if you have nothing to hide, brother, then, like, just handle your business, get back to work. I don't get the problem here. Unless you're a little stinky, brother. Unless you got a little, you know, skeletons in your closet doing a little dance. I don't know. But yeah, that's just speculative. That's speculation, you know. Who knows? But I'll keep you posted. But I do think this goes all the way up to Adams. And hell, who knows? Maybe it even goes up to Hochul. Shit, I'm the first one to say that. No, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Hopefully not. Not that I like Hochul or anything, but like I hope that she's okay and not uber corrupt. But I mean, it's a politician. I kind of have to assume that they all are on default. Okay, we have one more thing I wanted to cover. So let me not rant any more on New York. New York, the Big Apple. Let's go ahead and do our last break, and we'll go ahead and take it to space. We're back. We're right back on the Polaris Dawn, like we never left. Ooh-wee. Nom, 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 nom. It's very yummy. From the Associated Press, tech billionaire pulls off first private spacewalk high above Earth. So they did it. Yay. You know, I know it's rare that y'all catch me rooting for a Elon Musk project, but this is pretty cool, like I said before, and it looks like they made it happen without a hitch. A tech billionaire popped out from a SpaceX capsule hundreds of miles above Earth and performed the first private spacewalk Thursday, a high-risk endeavor once reserved for professional astronauts. Tech entrepreneur Jarek Isaacman teamed up with SpaceX to test the company's brand new spacesuits on his chartered flight. The daring feat also saw SpaceX engineer Sarah Gillis going out once Isaac was safely back inside. The spacewalk was simple and quick. The hatch was barely open half an hour compared to the drawn-out affairs conducted by NASA. Astronauts at the International Space Station often need to move across the sprawling complex for repairs, always traveling in pairs and lugging gear. Station spacewalks can last 7 to 8 hours. This one clocked in at less than 2 hours. Also, there's a bit of timidity that they kind of mention, which I completely understand. But then I also kind of thought too that it's like once you open the hatch, it's game on, baby. Like I know y'all came to test the suits, and that's essentially what y'all came to do. That's why like the whole idea of him like doing the whole thing, like he pokes his head out. and he kind of like tests the shoulders, tests the elbows, like everything's moving okay, there's no issues with the suit. Okay, we're good. He didn't like throw himself out there. He was holding on to the ship the whole time. And it's like, I get that, but then I also like understand why it's worth mentioning, because it's like, dude, you're already here. You're in space, baby. Like, if this shit doesn't work, it's game over anyway. So you kind of might as well just go balls to the wall. Like, just, I don't know. Maybe that's me being crazy and wild, but it's already all on the line. So it is kind of weird to just kind of do the skittish, like, poke, hold on. It's like, you're already out there. But something that's worth adding, so far everything's been pretty good, but they said that the, like, hatch seal had, like it was, like, bubbling, and that seems scary. Like, maybe there was, like, a containment issue in terms of, like, with the air or whatever. I don't know. But overall, I haven't heard of any problems. Sierra Gillis also kind of came out, did, like, a similar kind of thing. They also had people, like, up at the front, like, watching, monitoring. So I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad we didn't have a billionaire fucking rip to spread space style, that overall things went good. I'll read his quote. And I would say for a civilian, it was rock solid. Back at home, we have a lot of work to do. But from here, it looks like a perfect world. I'm like, that's really cute. That's a pretty cute phrase. You know what I mean? I'm sure he rehearsed it, workshopped it a bit. Like, good for him. It didn't land flat. I will say, like, I heard it, like, when I was listening to a podcast, it didn't sound too good to space, like, over the space wire or whatever. But once I, they said what it was, I was like, okay, yeah, I fuck with that, I guess. So yeah, I mean, interesting development. Hopefully, I don't know if they're going to be up there for much longer, if they're going to be coming back, if that was simply it, if they're doing more to test the suits or what have you. But it does seem like mission accomplished. It seems like they got it done. So hell yeah, kudos where it's deserved. You know what I mean? Cool. I'm glad the money is going to this stuff, I guess. Granted, these hopefully are going to be like the kind of suits that are maybe going to take, astronauts and stuff back to the moon one day. You know what I mean? We've talked about that project. Was it like 10 years out or something like that? So we'll see. Maybe so. But that's it. That's where I want to leave it for today. Feels good. Let's see. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. You become a newsie. I shout you out at the top of the month if you'd like. Plug a project if you'd like. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Love to see it. Love to see ya. Feel free to hit me up with any kind of questions, comments, concerns, whatever. Hopefully subscribe to the YouTube. Really helps out a lot. Leave a like, leave a comment. Sharing is caring. If you're not on YouTube, give me all the stars, give me all the high ratings. I mean, you can comment on Spotify these days. You really can just go off if you want. But I really do just appreciate you listening, just hanging out with me. I think that's really, really dope. But yeah, hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.